The coastal districts of Bayelsa and Delta states are experiencing a tense atmosphere as 10 looking armed soldiers comb the creeks of the two states in search of the killers of 17 soldiers of the Nigerian Army suspected to have been murdered in Okuama community in the Ugeli South local government area of Delta State on Thursday. It was gathered that the military, in extending the search for the hoodlums beyond Okuama creeks, were working on the information that those involved in the heinous crimes had fled to various communities in Bayelsa and Delta states in order to escape arrest. However, as the military tightens its grip on Bomadi town in Delta State, a few kilometers away from the crisis-torn Okuama and Okoloba communities, emotions run high among the residents. Our news team ventured into the heart of the turmoil. Jemima Boloko has the rest of the story.
As tension escalates to unprecedented levels, the military tightens its grip on access to the Okuama and Okoloba communities in Delta State. Armored tanks stand as formidable barriers strategically positioned to deter potential intruders. In Bomadi, a palpable sense of fear permeates the air as heavily armed security personnel patrol the streets and surrounding villages with stern expressions warning against any attempt to document the situation. The military's persuasive presence cast a shadow of fear over the riverine Bomadi community. Residents and other bystanders in the conflict lament the profound impact on their daily lives. Formerly thriving businesses now languish in uncertainty, while the once accessible river lies beyond reach, clouded in apprehension.
We are appealing to the government to at least be peaceful with us now, because we are not directly involved, you understand?
People with their family coming to make peace in the environment, you set ambush and kill those people for nothing. So I'm hungry, I'm not happy.
We dey feel suffer. Make government come do peace, because our Ijaw land now we dey everyday fight. Make na settle these horrible people with some people. Make na settle us. Make we dey peace. Now na market we dey do shop. No market, nothing. We dey suffer. We need peace.
Based on say die matter, all of us we dey fear. But now, wetin we dey pray for now? I beg. The place where the crisis dey, na inside river, not be for here. So, as una dey come here now like this, where we dey see una, we know say we don save, we no go fear us before again.
Amid this crucible conflict, Bomadi's residents plead for relief, longing for the return of peace to their embattled community. Reporting amid the tumult of Delta's troubled waters, this is Jemima Boloko, Arise News, Bomadi, Delta State.
Joining us now is Jesutega Onokpasa, a lawyer and an indigene of the state of Irobo extraction. He's joined by Jonathan Lokpobiri, National President, Ijaw Youth Council from Yenagoa in Bayelsa State. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks for having me, Ruben. Thanks for having me, Dr. Abasi.
Thank you very much. Well, both of you are very familiar with this developing story about the crisis now in the Niger Delta, beginning from Okuama all the way to the creeks of Bayelsa, and crisis along the Forcados River, with many counterclaims and charges, trading of blames on all sides, both official and by the people. We'd just like to have your take, one after the other on this. Let's start with you, Jonathan Lokpobiri, President, Ijaw Youth Council.
Thank you, Dr. Abati. First, it's one of the most sad moments for us as Ijaw people, where just when we thought that peace was gradually returning into our land, where people can focus on development, we're now around this familiar wrong history of violent conflicts within our communities. We use this medium to, in absolute terms, condemn this dastardly act of killing and mutilating bodies of military officers who were on a peace mission to resolving a conflict between two communities, Okoloba and then Okuama community. It's an act that we cannot by any means forgive. It's an unpardonable offense committed against these soldiers who are also human beings from Nigeria, regardless of where they are from. But beyond that criminality of a few, we are quite concerned about the method employed by the military in search for these criminals who had carried out this heinous crime against the Nigerian military and Nigeria itself. Part of the reasons why we are concerned is that the civilian casualty is getting to an unprecedented level, especially in Bayelsa. I don't know the exact status of things in Okuama, but like I said, regardless, every community that is suffering under the yoke of this military occupation or invasion is Nigerians that are suffering. That position must be clearly made known. As leaders of our people, we do not subscribe to violent crimes against especially the state. So this is a crime against the state, which is condemned in the highest terms. But our take on this is that Nigeria, with a professional military, must evolve means of targeting criminals in the midst of our communities rather than raising down the entire community on account of pursuing criminals. Let me reflect our minds back to the days of OD. Very few individuals who were even recalcitrant youths from OD community took out an action against the state. But because they were aware of the crime they were into, many escaped. The innocent communities were completely razed down, people killed and buried. What is happening today in Bayelsa from an incident that happened in Okuama community, an Urobo community in Delta State, is having the greatest impact on a Bayelsa community called Igbomotoro 2 in Bayelsa. The military perhaps would tell Nigerians the nexus or the connection between what happened in Okuama community and how our people get to be the greatest, people punished for what had happened in Okuama community. Even if there is a connection between those who have played a role in this dastardly act, I think that the world has evolved where technology could be deployed in the search for criminals rather than wiping off a whole community who have nothing in common with these criminals, perhaps who live amongst these communities. As I speak to you, a lot of dead bodies are flowing on the River Non on account of the search for criminals, perhaps may have played a role in this crisis. A lot of innocent old women who would not have the capacity to run and escape are still in the bush. Dead bodies have been found in the community. Nobody's allowed to even move out of their houses. Whilst we sympathize with the military must evolve means of measured, guided, or targeted arrest of criminals rather than punishing an entire community for crimes that the communities did not agree to. These are not collective crimes, but individual crimes living in communities. Let me tell you this. There's no community in Nigeria that do not have misguided youths or criminals. But all of these communities do not have to go down in the search for few criminals who could be selected. Like it happened in the Boston bombing, where few criminals
Lokpobiri.
created a chaos in the community.
Lokpobiri.
And technologies
Lokpobiri.
were deployed where these individuals were targeted and picked up.
Lokpobiri, if you can hear me, I mean, it's sad that River Nile is floating with corpses. The same River Nile made famous by Gabriel Okara in the call of the River Nile. River Nile and then the Forcados River. So from Forcados to River Nile, truly a tragedy. But let's hear from Onokpasa. You should take out Onokpasa, your perspective.
Well, it's truly sad, you know. It's so to imagine that our troops would be slaughtered, you know, in such totally inhumane, most abominable, totally ungodly manner. You know, it was it is so heart-wrenching. You know, I can't even imagine how to describe the people responsible for this complete abomination. You know, these are our soldiers. Our soldiers, our men, all of them. Police, Army, Navy, Air Force, Civil Defense, DSS, and anybody that wears our uniform, that is armed by us, they belong to all of us. I see soldiers, I stop, I tell them, thank you for your service, I embrace them. You know, I have warmth, try to radiate warmth to people, but for whom we would all, if you didn't have police, if you didn't have law enforcement, if you didn't have a military, well, how would you be able to get out of your house other than maybe you arm yourself with an AK-47 or carry a rocket launcher, you know? And then they go on a peace mission and some people slaughter them, our own troops. I mean, how dare you? How dare you? May their souls rest in peace. May their families be comforted. It is so painful to me personally. It's as if I lost loved ones. You know. Now you see, people just get used to being carried away. What is this so-called fight between Okuama and Okoloba? Everybody in Okuama is related to everybody in Okoloba. They have been sleeping with one another for centuries. They are all related. This one is just happens to be Robo. This one is Ijaw. All of them, they are related, Ruben. They are brothers and sisters. What is land there that they are? It is like Alaja and Ogbijo people who keep fighting over land. In fact, at one point, I don't know how I forgot it, but I wanted to do a memo to the governor that the government should just take any land that people are disputing, take it over, build something there. Let us see whether they will see land to fight about. Land that God created. I don't know, it is so sad. All of them, I can assure you, Dr. Abati, all those people in Okuama, all those people in Okoloba, they are all relations. Fighting over what does not even belong to them, what belongs to God. That's what we say in our language. Land belongs to God. Then you go and kill our troops. Of course, we do not subscribe to collective punishment. We do not subscribe to transfer aggression. We do not subscribe to Obasanjo's style of doing things. He was a president or a man of muscle and, with respect, little sense. This is President Tinubu's regime. The people who killed our troops, they will be traced, they will be tracked down, they will be hunted down, they will be apprehended, they will be brought before a court of law, and they will be tried and sentenced to death for killing our troops. I would say the dispute was was not taken too seriously by the government. You know, probably because, well, you can't really blame people. You don't know when people get carried away and start oh God, this thing is so, it brings tears to my eyes when I think of these troops. You know, so whatever mistakes have been made in handling it, I will call on Governor Borewori to take charge of the situation and effect a permanent settlement, you know, and let us concentrate on the troops that we lost, how to comfort their families, you know, and see how to restore peace. But there should be no collective punishment, not at all.
Okay, just to take thank you for that. Now, you know, you've painted the picture, of course, that we all resonate with at the moment. One of the concerns, of course, is that as much as we all condemn the killing on the soldiers, we've just heard a personal account from Lokpobiri about the situation on the ground right now that is, you know, filtered into all neighboring areas. So there are more dead bodies in these reprisal attacks that are now being discredited as propaganda. But the facts are that there are citizens, ordinary citizens, members of communities who are now losing their lives, and nobody is taking responsibility for that. In this type of situation, how do we get to the truth? Is it possible to get to the truth? Because as much as justice is indeed needed for the soldiers, what about these innocent civilians who are now caught in the crossfire? Who is going to be held responsible for that?
Whoever is targeting innocent civilians is breaking the law. I mean, two wrongs do not make a right. That some beasts, animals, as far as I'm concerned, targeted our troops. It doesn't justify the targeting of innocent civilians. Now, I'm a lawyer, I'm a senior lawyer, so I don't like to talk about what I don't know. I will assume that Jonathan Lokpobiri is on ground and he knows, with all sense of responsibility, he knows what he's saying. I am not aware of that. I heard that I saw even videos of some buildings being burnt. Some people said it's the army that was burning it. Other people told me that some people took advantage of the crisis to attack the community. You know, I have not really verified it. Yeah. Now, if it is the army that is doing that, that is wrong. But I don't have proof of that. So, and I'm not going to tag. I'm not going to go into a bandwagon effect and start tagging our army. Our army is really, really precious to me. You know, I believe that our army is responsible and it will not take the law into its hands and break the law by going after innocent civilians. The truth is that whoever did this crazy thing, you see, even the community, the Okuama community or Koloba community, they are victims of these people. They live in fear of these people. Do you understand me? They live in fear of these people. So you have these crazy boys who happen to be armed to the teeth, who are even terrorizing the community. What are they even dragging this land for? It's to sell. They will sell the land tomorrow, use it to drink beer and carry prostitutes. You know, so they already pray. The community itself is a victim of these people. So I think what is going on is the army is trying to fish out those who killed the troops. While it is doing that, it must adhere to the rules of engagement. It must obey the law. We cannot have our army behaving in a lawless manner, no matter what has happened, you know. But they must be, the people who kill our troops, they must pay dearly for it. They must pay dearly for it, please.
Good to see you again, Mr. Jestega Onokpasa. We feel very, very pained and gutted.
Rufai, how are you, my brother?
I'm very well as regards this incident. And, you know, we're going to go down to brass tacks. But Real quickly, as regards calling Obasanjo a man of little sense, we don't want anything libelous on this platform, Let's just leave Obasanjo out of it. Yes, what he did in...
No.
What he did in Odi, we condemn.
He massacred people in Odi.
I know. And that is unforgivable.
And his action led. It is Obasanjo's action that led to the pandemic of kidnapping in Nigeria. It is Obasanjo arresting Asari Dokubo. If you recall, he arrested Asari Dokubo, transported him to Abuja, started prosecuting him. That is when MEND
started.
Was formed. And then they started kidnapping expatriate workers.
We get all that narrative.
I know. We don't subscribe.
We don't subscribe to
we don't subscribe to jungle justice. Please.
Yeah, we don't subscribe to action like what happened in Odia. We totally condemn that. But we also don't subscribe to calling man of little sense.
We target the people.
Let's condemn his actions.
We target. I was deploying a term from Olaro Timi's Kurumi. Okay. Which I'm very sure that Ruben Abati is
I mean, I get Mr. Onokpasa.
I'm using a Yoruba phrase from Ibadan.
Mr. Onokpasa, we can both agree and we condemn.
I'm translating it to English, yes.
And we condemn the action of Olusegun Obasanjo in Odi, but saying a man of little sense, we condemn that also.
Yes.
Moving on.
I said I was deploying a Yoruba adage.
Let's move on. Let's move
from
on.
Ibadan.
Let's move on. Let's talk about these things you raised.
All right.
Let's talk about these burnings. That is now happening in that community in Okuama. So what is now happening? Who are those now perpetrating these burnings, this sack? Also, there were allegations of a tweet attributed to Defense Headquarters that talked about the audacity, and there were pictures of all these burnings. They said the tweet has been deleted now. Those allegations have been flying back and forth. Also, should the military have said this morning that there's going to be moderate injurious action? Does the military have the right to take moderate injurious action in a constitutional democracy where everything should go to the court of law? Should the military even be saying that they want to have the capacity to moderate injurious action? It's not the court that is supposed to determine that. That's number one for you. Number two, Mr. Jonathan, good to see you. I think if we can pan the camera to you, I'd like to see your face while I ask you this. You talked about these killings in this Bayelsa community. You talked about the non-river people floating on the non-river now. We would like to see evidence and proof as regards this. Do we have pictorial proof of the army in this society and people perpetrating this act? Do we have ample proof of what is going on as we speak? Can we also get video evidence as regards all of this? Because when you bring out this evidence, or if you bring out this evidence, it's a very sad matter then, and it's another matter entirely. And the sad reality is that OD is definitely repeating itself if all of that is happening. Do we have Mr. Jonathan Lokpobiri there? Okay, Mr. Jostega, you answered that first, and afterwards Mr. Lokpobiri will take over if you have him.
What I would say is, I to the extent to which, it's really sad for me. In fact, when I first heard the news, I felt like, my God, if it was up to me, I would grab a gun to go and avenge my troops. But we live in a society of laws. You understand? The army itself, the entire armed forces, it's a creation of the law. And it must be law-abiding. There's no room for anything extrajudicial, anything extra-legal. We are going to, the only way forward is to, first of all, let's comfort the bereaved. I don't know even if we have life insurance for our troops. I believe every policeman, every soldier should have life insurance. That's the least we can do for our troops, to comfort people are getting used to just slaughtering our troops. My God, Boko Haram does it. Bandits do it. Those are our soldiers. That's the pride. How do you kill our troops? It's really, really galling. Please. It's really annoying. Now that said, there is two wrongs don't make a right, and we have a disciplined army. We cannot afford to have an army that takes the law into his hands. The army is a creation of law. The army must obey the law itself. You understand me? You know. So to the extent to which I don't like to deal on speculation. I like to deal on facts, on proof, on evidence. You know. So until I have evidence of what has really gone down, I will not be able to apportion blame. You know, I don't really know. I've been hearing conflicting reports. Some people are saying the army went to burn some people's houses in some communities there. So one person told me that they were targeting the houses of the perpetrators. Another person told me people from another community came to attack, used the opportunity to attack the community. You know, so I don't really know. But to the extent, if at all, if the army is taking on a vengeance mission or taking reprisal, it has absolutely no right, no authority to do that under the law. It is the perpetrators of the crime. We will fish them out, and they will pay dearly for that, for this collective insult on all of us.
All right, Mr. Onokpasa, I asked
you kill one troop, you insult all Nigerians.
Which is a sad one. Mr. Onokpasa, I asked a question earlier on.
Go on.
Should the army have come out with a statement that we will have moderate injurious action, like was splashed in the newspaper today? Was that statement right? In a country where we have constitution and rule of law, should the army now be determining, oh, we will carry out moderate injurious action?
Well, I have not seen that statement, but if he did, that was his statement. I don't know what the army might have meant by that. If it meant that it would, if by that, you know, people, not all of us speak English with the same proficiency. So if it meant that it was going to go after those that killed our troops, well, that's okay. If by that it meant it was going to howsoever go outside what is permitted in law, then it is wrong. You know, so I would really like to get some clarification on that before. Okay. But I'm not going to jump into the bandwagon of condemning the army. No, I'm not. I would like to get some clarification from them.
Okay. We have Mr. Jonathan Lokpobiri. Mr. Jonathan Lokpobiri, you said dead bodies are floating on the Non River. Where is your proof? You said the army has been killing people in Bayelsa community. Where is your proof? We want your empirical proof as regards all of these allegations made this morning.
As at yesterday, Mr. Rufai, even media houses picked how an entire community was on high flames. We have pictures of dead bodies even on the land. Whilst we totally understand on account of this heinous crime against the state, against the military and Nigerian troops, our appeal is that the effort towards getting these criminals out of our system must be guided so that we don't suffer a mass murder like what happened in OD. Far too long, individual crimes have created capital punishment for an entire community, especially within the Ijaw communities. In recent times, there was a time they also attacked Baramatu. They have attacked Ayakurumo also. Incident that happened in Ndoro community, almost entire. So our appeal is the military, despite the provocation, be guided, a lot more guided in targeting the criminals in our midst. They are a menace to all of us in communities. So for those who are not playing a part in this dastardly act, shouldn't suffer double jeopardy. This is the concern we share. We're with the military in solidarity in their quest to get at these criminals. but an entire community must not go down. The elements are missed. This is the position, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, gentlemen, what is the way forward? I mean, the government has said there will be investigations and persons will be brought to justice. Earlier on, Jesu Tega was talking about the governor playing a role, although, well, why governors can play a role, I'm skeptical about the capacity of many of these state governors. But what should be the way forward? Some people have recommended an independent panel of inquiry. Some people have said, look, this problem has been there for so long. What will it take for the people in the Niger Delta to live together in peace, regardless of ethnic extraction? Let's talk about solutions. Let's go beyond, trading blames. The military did this, the people did that, and all that. And just to take, if I may come back to you, I think, too many people are dragging President Obasanjo into this. I think we should focus on what the government of the day should do. There's no doubt that President Obasanjo is one of the most sensible people who ever ruled this Nigeria. One of the, biggest products of Yoruba land in the 20th century, an eminent global citizen, a properly educated man, an author, a scholar. He even has a PhD to show that he's a man who has a lot of sense and capacity for intellection. But let's leave that aside. What should the government of the day do? What do we recommend? Let me start with you, Jesu Tega Onokpasa, and then we'll go back to President Lokpobiri.
Well, what is government supposed to do? Government is supposed to do what government ought to do. If people are proving to be unable or unwilling to live in peace, well, peace ought to be compelled upon them. That is the truth. If you won't live, left to me, if you kill one person because of land, I will take the land from you, from both sides. If the land is no longer available to be fought over, well, at least you will. If you will not live together amicably, I will take the land from you. Simple. Until you come to your senses and you. So, but more idealistically, people should just learn to live together, to live and let live. When we even say, I don't know, I think Rufai will be very, very familiar with Warri because he grew up there. All of us in that town, all of us there, we are all the same people. This one just happens to be Okbel, Urobo, Ijaw, Shekiri, Isoko. Everybody comes from the same ancestors. It is very difficult to find anybody in that area who doesn't have ancestry from another tribe, multiple other tribes. I will be dumbfounded if there's anybody in Okoloba or anybody in Okuama who doesn't come from the other village, who doesn't have ancestry there. Let people just learn how to live together. And this thing, we should not take it lightly. Let this be the end of the very end of people taking our troops for granted and feeling you can kill our soldiers. For what? They belong to us, all of us. That you are dragging land, then the army came there trying to make peace, then you start targeting them and you shoot them. For what? So for me, I would urge my dear brother, Governor Boribori, let him go there, get the two communities together, read them the Riot Act, that if they do not share the disputed land amicably, he should take it over. Let them go to court.
Well,
You know, but for me, my pressing priority now is how we are going to console the bereaved, the widows, the children left behind of our troops. You know, may their souls rest in peace. It's so painful to me.
well, Jonathan Lokpobiri, the way forward. Any solutions?
My preference would be that as communities, in my opinion, wars are obsolete tools for carving out a peaceful tomorrow, in my opinion. And therefore, any quest to have a better tomorrow by the use of violence is unsustainable. Even if we were to have all the land we fight for, is it worth the life of people we take on account of our quest for control? I do think that the government of Delta State perhaps didn't play its role proactively enough, because we were aware, as president of council, we were aware that series of letters has been written to the government of Delta State. I don't know whether it's the previous government, but no proactive steps were taken until criminal elements took advantage of that field and then perpetrated crimes of unimaginable proportion, leading to the death of, as far as I'm concerned, I will refer to these military officers as innocent people who were only providing solution to a land that they have nothing to benefit from. So it's very sad. And that's why it's my recommendation that the real culprits who are behind this must never go unpunished. For far too long, violent crimes have become normalized in Nigeria, where people only, this is how many die. So if one person dies, it's just a normal thing. Nigeria can continue this way and we will make progress as a people. I do think that the governor of Delta State need to borrow a leaf or learn from the governor of his counterpart in Bayelsa, where constant engagement with communities that have conflicts, it's important. Now, this is one of that. And also, the biblical story where the two prostitutes said, if not be may get them, then Kukuma divide the other child, so that we all have this. And that is also not a possible solution, because if you truly know you have a land, you must not kill to exert that authority that you own the land. You only have to prove it. So I don't subscribe to the fact that, if there's a feud in a land, then the government completely takes it. Of course, those who knows that they do not have the land will be glad that the government takes it over. So the elements of justice in our communal systems must also be introduced, where truth guides the actions of leaders. I do recommend that the leaders of Okuama, who perhaps embolden these criminals in their community to take out this action, has a question to answer to Nigeria. When communities are held responsible for what happens in their communities, the communities will become watchdogs to their own community and what happens around them. We cannot just, in the name of chasing for criminals, allow those who encourage or embolden these guys to take out this action against our troops and Nigerians in general. This is the way to set a deterrent to others who are community leaders. Otherwise, we will record another dozen in only a matter of months. For me, our appeal to the Nigerian state is that ways of resolving conflicts, which deals with the core underlying issues, must be the foundation of restoring peace. Otherwise, we will only be using the instruments of violence that will destroy all of us together. As far as we are concerned, violence has no place in democracy, in the pursuit of peace and justice for communities in our nation. And our admonition to also the military is that they must also work with community leaders who will also guide the actions of the military, especially in their intervention. So we don't record this kind of unnecessary situations where we would have to lose our troops to criminals. It's quite embarrassing and painful
on that
to
note,
Nigeria as a nation.
On that note.
But my appeal to the leadership of this country is that the method by which we resolve this conflict must be a lot more humane in dealing with the core issues.
Okay. On that
because
note,
there's an introduction of high level of criminality, I think the law needs to run in full gear.
Lokpobiri.
So that it serves as a deterrent to
Hello,
others
Jonathan.
who will take Nigerians for granted and take lives indiscriminately.
Well,
whether military or otherwise, every Nigerian have a right to live.
Correct.
Which is supposed to be guaranteed by the state.
Yes, it's even constitutional. It's even a constitutional right. On that note, we'd like to thank you very much, Jonathan Lokpobiri, President of the Ijaw Youth Congress, and also Jesu Tega Onokpasa for joining us on the morning show.